Hey, hello, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Chris McMahon, and today we're going to talk all things back extension, but most important of all, how to perform a back extension at home when you don't have any access to gym equipment. Now, I have a bench outside in my gym that I would use, but because I really wanted to keep it like we're training at home, this is just a bench that my wife ordered on Amazon that I have used. Please don't tell her I'm using it, but you could use a bench, you could use a couch, you could use a regular workout bench. All of those options are going to be great. Now, the important thing to understand about the back extension is what's actually happening in the back extension. So let's talk a little bit about that first. When it comes to your back extension, we really have to pay close attention to how we're actually moving through our back. It's very easy to actually move around the stretched position that we're chasing to get all that muscular benefit. For instance, you might see someone perform a back extension with their back rounding and they're moving through it as fast as possible. But what we want to see is someone pushing their butt back, creating length so we find that stretched position. To do that, it's important to understand what your Romanian deadlift should look like. All a back extension is a Romanian deadlift. It's a hip hinge with straight legs. So what you want to think about for a hip hinge is you karate chop the hips, you send them back, right? Shins are coming too far forward. We're actually taking the tension off those hamstrings. So what we want to think about is pulling the shins back and pushing the butt back. Now you feel that feeling. Now you could also do the same thing with straight legs. Reach down towards the ground, and now you're really going to feel those hamstrings light up. Keep pushing your butt back. Push your butt back a little bit further. The only thing that limits you in your RDL is your hamstring flexibility and your hip mobility. So push that butt back as far as you can, and that's the feeling that we're going to try to create when we perform that back extension. Now we're going to perform the back extension. I suggest using a bench or a workout bench. Now on a workout bench, I really love using that because you can place weights on the end to make it stable. In this case, this bench isn't going to tip over, but if you are a little more top heavy, it could. So what you can do is take a kettlebell, like so. And now we have this weight here so we don't have to worry about anything moving on us. I'm going to lay it flat so it doesn't roll and crush my leg. Because we're going to want to use this part of the bench. What you do is you'll take your legs out, you'll straddle the bench, you'll find that edge of the bench and you want it to line up on your hips. So if I scooch myself forward, I get to the point where my hips are lined up. Now from this position, what you're going to do is you're going to take your legs out and wrap it around. Now you could have straight legs, right, to make it more difficult, or you could have bent legs to have a little bit more control here, but really what you want to do is make sure you're squeezing your legs together. That's going to keep you in this position, which is that back extension position, nice straight line. So what I'm going to do is I want to lower myself down. I'm going to place my hands on the ground while I talk through this, and I want to push my butt up. Push, so I'm getting that hinge position, yeah? So I'm wrapping around, push my butt up. Push, push, push as much as I can, push. And then from there, bring yourself up. From here, I'm squeezing my butt as much as I can. I'm lifting as much as I can. I'm not overarching. I'm just coming to this neutral position. That's the big intense part. I come back down, I'm going to push my butt back. So you can actually reach your arms back so you can get that butt back. Pull yourself up. So if that back extension variation didn't feel great and you just maybe weren't comfortable or your legs were hurting or you didn't have weights to add, what you can do is perform this other variation. Now this is called a Hatfield back extension. It requires you to have a bench. You could actually use a chair, whatever it is. You just have to make sure that it's about hip height. Yeah? So the big thing is hip height, and we want to make sure that our knees are stacked directly underneath our hips. So we want to get nice and close. Knees are stacked, feet are flexed. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my hands, I'm going to allow myself to roll over the front, right? And what we're actually going to do from right here is I'm going to hollow out as much as I can. So again, I'm here, I'm tucking my tailbone, I'm hollowing out as much as I can. I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to come forward, I'm going to stay in this hollow position. What you're going to do next from this position, keeping your abs engaged, pushing into the bench, all we're going to do is lift up through that upper back, come back down. The whole time you're focusing on pushing those abs into the bench. It's not a big range of motion, but it mimics what we're doing in the back extension. and you're really getting that. So again, hollow out, push that belly button in, lift up, and come back down. Whew, that's intense. So those are two variations of the back extension that you can perform at home if you have limited gym equipment. They're effective. They don't require you to use external load, although when it gets easier for the bench variation where you're laying across the top, a flat bench back extension, you could technically hold on to a dumbbell, hold on to a kettlebell. But again, what you can kind of think of doing is just performing this for max reps. You could do it that way. I would say anywhere from like 10 to 15 reps is more than enough. 2 to 3 sets, more than enough. Again, this is like an accessory movement. It doesn't have to be anything overcomplicated. And if you don't know what sort of program you're following, you don't know what you should be doing in the gym, you can just click below and download my 52 free workouts guaranteed to torch fat and get you in great shape without spending hours in the gym. It's a fun program that you could do. And of course, I say without spending hours in the gym, you also have to pay attention to your nutrition. So you can also click below and get my free fat loss guide that's guaranteed to help you see the results you're after that you're chasing in the gym. So I hope you found this helpful. And without further ado, remember, you're one day away from getting back on track, one day away from realizing how fucking amazing you are.